All right, y'all. Back again with another video. Comparative to my first video, which was at school. They canceled school this week, and I didn't know, so I went back to the house. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, I hadn't had a chance to look at my comments to my Q&A yesterday, but one of the more, I guess, debated topics in the comment section between me and some of you guys was the contracts. And I want to clarify some things. And I also went and took and wrote down the contract information of some of the guys that either I mentioned or it popped up, just to break down the salaries so you guys can see my point. Um, Now look, I'm not saying Lonzo isn't deserving. Actually, yes, I am. Lonzo isn't deserving of a max contract based off the numbers. Um, and the defense and stuff. That's not enough. I'm saying he still needs more. He would still need more to justify the value. You know, at least you could say Bi put up 23. You could say De'Aaron Fox had 21 and 9. You know, Bam is like what 18, 8 and 5 or something, 28 and 5, so something ridiculous like that. Plus the defense all five positions. Um, Ben Simmons, multi-time All-Star, All Defensive Team. You know, plus he got the stats. All these guys got these lucrative deals, right? Lonzo is already making 11 million. Just off the his rookie contract. I even saw that last year Bi made like 6 million off of his rookie deal, which is like what, you know. But here's the thing: you gotta have accolades 9 times out of 10. The only exception to that list that I mentioned was Fox, and Fox is the way he is because he is their guy. If they don't pay him, he's going somewhere else, and they're not a free agent destination, so they got to keep their guys, right? So you know, like for instance, okay, Bledsoe, and I'm gonna go ahead and look at this because, like I said, I wrote it down. Bledsoe, it's his averages out to like 17 million a year. But I'm gonna just show you what this his contract is. He's getting 16 million this year, 18 million next year. It was like 17, so I just rounded up, and then 19 million. It was like 18, so I just like 18.9 something. So I just rounded up. Okay, it's not a max contract. That is not the max contract. Again, Ricky Rubio was mentioned. Ricky Rubio is getting 16, 17, and then 18. Really, it's like 17.2 and 17.8. But I just rounded up and down. Okay? Those are not max contracts. Those aren't even for like 5 years. They're like 3 years. Those are like 3-year deals, 4-year deals. Blad's was 4 years, 70 million. Um, Ricky Rubio's was 3 years, 55 million. Those are not max contracts at all. Let me show you what Max is looking like. Let me go ahead and show you some of Zoe's contemporaries. Cause like comparing Bled and them guys to Zoe, that shit don't matter. They're not his contemporaries. These aren't the guys who were drafted in or around his class. So Ben Simmons, I didn't go ahead and get super in detailed with his and Fox's, but Fox's I went back and looked at Fox's um, mirrors Bam's. You know, um, but Ben's is like 1 year more, like 1 million or more a year, so you can basically figure it out in your head what it is. Ben is getting what it averages out to. I think is like 29 million a year. Okay, um, Fox is getting 24 million a year. Now I'm gonna go and show you guys what Bam got, and it actually because the website I didn't go back and look at, you know, Ben's at this, but I went and looked at Fox's. Fox is getting paid the same exact contract Bam got paid. This is what Bam's payout is looking like over the 5 years: 28, 30, 32, 34, and 37. Now wait a minute. Let me show you guys what BI is getting. BI is getting 27, 29, 31, 33, and 36 over 5 years. These are max contracts. And if you, like I said, for Ben, you just add a million to it each. So for Ben, it'd be 29, 31, 33, 35, and 38. Okay? Those are max contracts. I was saying 25 million is max, essentially. Which, based on this, Fox is getting 24 point something a year on average over, I guess, what it amounts to the contract and how it works out or whatnot. You know, which honestly, it's weird. It don't make sense because there's no way when he's getting numbers like that averages out. The way I look at this is really the average should be about 32 a year. Yeah, actually, that's what it is. So this is actually the notes I took for his how it broke down per year is actually inaccurate. That's wrong. But what I'm trying to get you guys to understand, Lonzo getting Bledsoe Rubio money is not getting the bag. It is in no way, shape, form max money. It is nowhere near max money. As I read out some of this stuff, 28, 27, that's your first year. That is max. Me even saying 25 is still low, but it's right there with the rest of those guys he's got drafted with and or around. If you're saying he's worth 16 to 18 million a year, you're saying he's Bledsoe Rubio. Lonzo's production is higher than both of those guys right now. And he shares the same team with Bledsoe, who gets more. Well, their touch is about the same. But Bledsoe's getting offense ran for him. He's not even an option with these guys. And his numbers are still better. Why would he take paltry 16 to 17 million? Why are people trying to lowball the value? Again, he's going to have to take a lesser amount if he don't get his numbers up because nobody's going to pay him. They're not going to pay him to match these guys. Hell no. If everybody agrees to pay Lonzo between 16 and 18 million, guess what? He's only going to get 16 to 18 million no matter where he goes. So he just go to the best place with the best situation and probably take a lesser year deal, like maybe 2 years or 3 years or something like that. But when your contemporaries are getting this kind of money, going into the 30 millions, hell no. Lonzo said he's trying to get the bag. The bag is not 16, 17 a year. That is not the bag. Hell, he's already making 11 a year right now. He's already right there. Look, he's out. Think of it this way. For 11 million a year, Lonzo is outperforming Bledsoe, who is more of the focus on offense. You're making less and you're outperforming the guy that makes more than you. If you're going to say, okay, fine, we'll give you Bledsoe money. For what? Why would I take Eric Bledsoe money when I'm better than him? You guys are paying him 17 million. It don't make any sense. So Lonzo wants max money. What he's probably going to get is somewhere, depending on the way this season is going to work out, somewhere probably around 2022. It ain't that bad. It ain't that far off from the other guys, but it's still better than Rubio and Bled. Those numbers, those values I just gave to you guys don't add up. And I can't remember who said it. Someone said that B.I. took less for Zoe. All this comes out to is $1 million a year, that's $5 million a year less. Because Fox and Bam got paid for $163 million. B.I. took $158. He took $5 million less a year for Lonzo. Or $1 million a year less for Lonzo. $1 million. Let me frame this reference for you right. How many All-Star games has De'Aaron Fox made? De'Aaron Fox made more. Ben Simmons is going to make more than all of these guys anyway. Multi-time All-Star DPOY, he was worth way more than the rest of them at the time of his contract. I'm just gonna keep it 100. If Bledsoe and Rubio are putting up numbers that don't compare, or not, let me not necessarily say don't compare, but if Zoe is beating them out on productivity with less of a role than either of those, why would he settle for 16, 17, 18 million a year when he said he want the bag? No, I need my 2022. I need Fred VanVleet money at minimum. Fred VanVleet got 22 million a year. Al Horford, 33 million a year. And his stats ain't on par with Zoe. He's not giving you Zoe productivity. Granted, he was a beast a couple years ago. The market is going to dictate a lot. There's not going to be a lot of money to go around this summer. So Zoe's going to be one of the hotly contested free agents, especially since Giannis already resigned. I didn't include him because he's in a different age bracket. $16, $18, and $19 for Bled. This year he's getting 16. Zoe is outperforming Bled with a lesser role, and he's getting 16 to Zoe's 11. Again, why would Lonzo settle for 16 to 18 a year when he's outperforming the guys that are getting paid that much? This is why I don't get why you guys are disagreeing. I'm not saying that he shouldn't get his money. I want him to get his money. Trust me. That's why every time we say post his stats or pay my man, we want him to get his money. The problem, this is my problem. The number of teams available are going to dictate what he's worth. Period. His stats alone is not something you would pay. You wouldn't pay max money to. You're not getting Ben, Fox, Bam, BI numbers for 14, 5, and 4. You're not. You could get Bled and Rubio money. But even then, he's still outperforming that. So what does that mean? He's not as low as those guys, Bled and Rubio, but he's not as high as Bam, Fox, and BI and Ben Simmons. So what's the middle? What's the middle ground? Let's see. When at the time Bledsoe and Rubio signed their deals, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So if they're the final years of their contract, they're making 19 to 18 million, which means next year they start off making 17 to 18 million. He's got to be more than that. So he's not, so you could start him and say 19 is the starting range, but he's outperformed him. He's way more than 19. So 20, 22 million. That's going to be around the ballpark of what he's going to have to hit. Now, what he wants to get is 25. That's max. That is truly max. That is truly max. But he's not going to get that because they're going to run into issues trying to pay Zion down the line. Plus you got to pay Josh Hart. And we didn't even get into that. See, let's talk about Josh Hart. I didn't plan on talking to Josh Hart. Josh Hart was picked late, so his money is nowhere near as long as these guys. But let's give some perspective here. Josh Hart is top 5 in rebounds for a guard. He's like 7 rebounds a game off the bench. He's got 8 points a game, right? He plays hard defense, hard-nosed defense. Here's the thing. And he's average 3-point shooter. I went and looked at this stuff in my other video. Does he have the numbers to compete with Bled and Rubio? But if he was a starter and he was getting more touches, would he be worth more then? See, Hart should be getting Rubio and Bledsoe numbers. He should be getting Rubio and Bledsoe numbers. If we're going to talk about that, that's what he should be getting. Lonzo is Fred VanVleet level money. And that's fair. Like, if you're talking about a fair deal, 20 to 22 million for Zoe is a fair deal. It is a fair deal. But taking anything less than that, not at all. There is no way if I'm Lonzo Ball. You mean to tell me this nigga, y'all brought in as the start two guard who I'm making more points per game on less shot attempts, shooting around the same 3-point percentage, and I'm ascending, plus I play defense at a level that he can't, plus I give you more rebounds, plus I'm trending up on free throws and everything else. Y'all trying to tell me I need to take the same money as this nigga? Are y'all serious? Like, let's be honest. If you were Zoe, listen to what I'm telling you guys. If you're Lonzo, you're playing next to one of these guys that you guys are saying he should be paid at that level for. Are you telling me seriously that Lonzo, who is sitting here by this nigga, literally outperforming him every goddamn game, and y'all sit here saying, you should get paid just like he does? Come on, man. Come on, man. No way. Look, we don't even have to do NBA. If you go work at a job and you do more work than, say, a supervisor does, like, period, and everybody knows it, including the supervisor, and the supervisor's making, say, $5 more an hour, you don't look at that and say, ain't no way I'm supposed to be getting less than you and I do more work around here. When I'm not here, this shit fall apart. When you're not here, shit is moving as usual. You could not play Bledsoe the rest of the year, and I promise you the Pelicans will be just fine. I promise you, the Pelicans will be just fine. If you lose Lonzo, the Pelicans are going down. And I'm not saying you replace those bodies. I'm saying you just take them out. You take out Bledsoe, Pelicans will be just fine. Sorry about that. You take out Bledsoe, the Pelicans will be just fine. You take out Lonzo, nothing. Ain't no way he worth 16 to 18 million. Don't lowball him. Now, again, going back to what I said, because I'm not trying to contradict anything. The market is going to dictate. If all the teams decide they're not going to pay him more than 16 to 18 million, then guess what? That's all he can get. But there's some teams with some money. Some of them. Think like the Chicago Bulls. They may not want to pay Lauri Markkanen the kind of money. But Lonzo, different story. That's all I'm saying. It's not max money. 20 to 22 is not max money. I'm just keep it frank. When you got guys out here making $30 million after like their second, the third year of their contract. Make sure I get this right. Yes, some in the second, because Bam in his second year of his contract, which means next year, Bam would be getting 30. And then everybody else is getting like 31, 32 after that. Look, that's max money. That's real money. That is generational wealth. He is not in BINM tier based on the numbers and stats this year. Sorry. That's $30 million a year essentially. But he is 20 to 22 up front. Josh Hart is the guy who should be looked at to get 16 to 18 million. People are trying to say 14 to 15 million. I'm going to tell y'all right now. If Josh Hart had been starting and playing 30-plus minutes a year, Josh Hart's numbers would probably be around 14 and 8. We're talking 14 and 8 and maybe like 2 paltry rebounds. 3-point shooting is average. Field goal percentage is decent. It's like 45%. That is not a player worth anywhere in the 20s. But that is what you just gave Bledsoe, basically. There's no way. And if I'm Josh Hart, if I'm Josh Hart or Josh Hart agent, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, look, I was better on this team than Bledsoe was. And you guys paid him out $16 million this year. Now, I ain't as good as Lonzo. And so he definitely should get paid more than me or Bledsoe. But I'll be damned if y'all say I ain't worth as much as y'all paid Bledsoe. I gave you Bledsoe level performance this year without Bledsoe. Bledsoe's giving you what my numbers reflect, but I gave you what his numbers should reflect. Y'all don't want to hear that though. Y'all want to talk about contracts and money? This is some contract and money talk. You got a guy that you brought in via trade who is not performing to his contract. You got two guys still on rookie deals outperforming this vet. And people want to only pay him 15, 16 million. Josh Hart would be good with 15. I've seen people trying to say pay Josh Hart, 12, 11, 12, 13, 14 million. Nigga, like, Josh Hart been making like $1 million or $2 million a year like Kuzma. They've been making low quality money this year. Matter of fact, I think Kuzma just signed 11 a year or 12 a year. He's like 3 for 50. Is Josh Hart better than Kuzma? That's a conversation y'all don't want to have, is it? Is that a conversation y'all want to have? Because if y'all want to, let me know. We can have that conversation. We can have that conversation. If Kuzma is getting 3, how does this work out? 3, well, because I think the way they count the contract too is they add this year in with it. So if you take this year out of it, yeah, he's right at like 13 a year. Kuzma is worth around 13 a year. Is Josh Hart better than Kuzma? Think about that. I ain't gonna go there. I ain't gonna go there with y'all. Think about that though. But y'all want to say that Zoe need to get like 16 to 18 million when the guy that's getting 16 to 18 million ain't better than Zoe? Come on now. I'm gonna keep it plain. You can cut the cap. I want Zoe to get his money, and I hope he get his money. But if I'm not getting Fred VanVleet, I'm telling everybody, don't call me if it ain't for 22 mil. 20 to 22 mil, you got me. That's how much my services cost. And you know what? As long as he keep playing defense, as long as if I'm gonna tell you another thing, if that 3 ball hit 40% this year consistently, he is getting 20 plus million easy, minimum, no matter what. And the Pels will pay. They will pay or they lose them because now you got one of the best young defenders for your team going forward for however long you have your team together. You got one of the best 3-point shooters who is ascending, who could be one of the top shooters in the entire of this crop once LeBron and them retired and everything. You got that. Plus, he's still a solid, really good playmaker and passer of the ball. Plus, he's a tall guard. Rebounds. Plus, he's clutch. You gonna pay what that man is deserved. You gonna pay him or you gonna have to let him go. And if you let him go, you're gonna hurt your franchise because you ain't getting another Lonzo. You're not getting another Lonzo. Lonzo's just ain't out on the street for everybody to get. And it's funny, people's like, he's Ricky Rubio. Bitch, where? Rubio ain't never put up the numbers that Zoe is. And Zoe is several years younger, like 6, 7 years younger than Rubio. Bledsoe's 30, y'all. I think JJ's getting paid 13, 14 million a year. It's funny because statistically speaking, from points per game and shooting, Josh Hart's better than JJ this year. Y'all want to have that conversation? We can have that conversation. Y'all let me know if y'all want to have that conversation. But I'm through. I just had to come out here and make a point. Because y'all tripping. Y'all tripping. Ain't no way in hell if I'm taking anything less than Fred VanVleet money. Off rip. And I don't even know what Fred VanVleet stats looking like right now. But his points per game is probably higher than Zoe's. But I'm not sure if he got the assist and everything else. He's a decent rebounder. I mean, not rebounder. He's a decent defender. But Zoe stops more points from happening than he needs to add to his score. I'm done. Look, I'm out. Bye, y'all. Bye.